Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Super-Fanta-Fi. This being a show where I talk about TV shows of the supernatural, fantasy, and or science fictional genre. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the latest episode of Killjoys. A very, very good episode with some very interesting turn of events. Probably the biggest turn of event being revealed on Johnny's side of the story is that Ollie is in fact Clara. It's like, oh, the reason why she has Alice and everything. And yes, Alice, because I think last week's episode I kept referring to Alice as Anna. I felt so bad about that one. I was like, oh, I'm such an idiot. Nonetheless, the fact of the matter is she doesn't have a lot of memories and stuff like that. And like one of the, like, because this whole thing is connected to the guy that attacked them last episode. Basically, he's a guy part of this whole company, their group called, they're Skinners. They're another form of mods. Basically, you make yourself look like someone else. That's why like there's two faces, one face beneath it, and why this is all connected to the green slime. Basically, the lady that's running this whole operation, I think her name was like Nico. She basically uses the green slime to preserve people's skin before she peels it off and gives it to someone else to kind of wear. It's pretty disgusting. Whole situation. I'll admit too, she's kind of badass with that leg thing. Her first leg thing was kind of like a spike, so it kind of stabbed people like a spear. Poor lady at the beginning, just because she got found out, and it's like, oh, I can't have this all trailing back to me and stuff like that. But also the one she has later on is like shoots out light balls of energy, so that was pretty intense too. But it was that kind of caught me by surprise. I wasn't expecting that storyline of like, oh, because like, oh, where's Clara? Where's Clara? We never really, because our friend Yuko, which I don't know who that actress is. I feel like I saw her name in the opening, but I just can't. You know, when the names were rolling, I feel like I might have seen the name that is that actress's name. I don't know, but that actress looks so familiar. Who plays Yuko, and the same thing for the actress who plays Ollie / you know, how Clara currently looks. I don't know if that's something that will. Because obviously the actress who originally played Clara, like, I recognize her for something more recently she did, I think, after Killjoys. But nevertheless, I feel like I definitely recognize the actress who played Ollie, but I can't place her either. But nonetheless, that was just a good twist of finding out, like, oh, that's who you actually are. But she doesn't remember Johnny because Yuko basically was, because this whole big thing is about giving modders, hack mods a place to go, because basically they're pretending to be these people, they're owners and stuff like that, so that it can impersonate them, the whole skinning thing, go off, basically empty their bank accounts and come back. And basically there's a kind of place that's being built for hack mods to kind of be free outside the J system. That's what this is all about. But obviously, like, Nico kind of gets her own slice of the pie with the whole situation. Well, Yuko's involved in this because for her, it's just like, no, this is a good thing. Clara found out the truth was causing too much trouble because she didn't like the way this was all being handled and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, you're getting back at the people who basically made y'all who you are, and the people who kind of owned you and kind of treat you like property and stuff like that. Sure, you kind of want, because, like, you know, hack mods are treated like as like second-class citizens, that basically you're nothing more than tools. You're just the workforce. We even ended up finding out that basically they kind of have like a kill switch type of thing. That basically it's part of their systems, because it's like, yeah, like, you're very dangerous, and it's like, if there are people who buy you, like, they want to feel 100% safe, so obviously there's a switch to just kind of like knock you out. I mean, because, I mean, at the end of the day, you don't like Nico's approach, but you understand where she's coming from, because she herself, being a hack mod, that was just kind of like, she was like, I was a scientist, I was kind of made this way, someone cut off my leg so I wouldn't run away, and then they also gave me a camera eye so they could steal my work and everything and stuff like that. So you get where she's coming from and everything. Obviously, she's got her own personal vendetta, and so, I mean, granted, she already dealt with her own personal vendetta, but still, it's still there. But she's like claiming it to be for her people, the other hack mods, but it's like, no, she's doing it more so for herself. But I mean, that's why some of the hack modders are okay with this whole situation, because they're like, at the end of the day, she's looking out for us, is how they felt. But, you know, when it came down to it, they realized she's not the solution to this whole situation, you know, that they can find a better way with this whole thing. I mean, because at the end of the day, you see that she doesn't care about them, because the fact of the matter is she killed one of them at the beginning for being like, oh yeah, you got found out, like, oh, someone saw this whole like thing with your face, oh yeah, because that person just wanted, it's like, oh, I just want to know what it was like to live as this person's life, and it was good and great and everything, but nope, oh, because you got possibly found out, oh, you know the risk from the beginning, and killed her. So luckily for Johnny, he didn't go through the whole modded process. I mean, well, granted, obviously, last episode he did, but, you know, not fully like she wanted him to. Just somehow how she'd get his skin and everything. Mad props to Johnny for always like having like double entendres and stuff like that, because she like he's grabbing onto her hand early in the episode. She's like, "Oh, I like a strong grip," and he's like, "Me too." It's like, nice. Always with the dirty jokes, Johnny. I always love it. It's actually kind of sad though that Clara might not ever go back to being Clara again. You know, well, that's not well with the whole process. Who I don't know how much of her is actually left underneath there, because it was something that Nico kind of brought up, you know, when talking to Clara. Like, the fact of the matter is, you don't love your body. Clara's like, yeah, I like the way I am. I'm kind of a badass and everything. But it's like, no, you hate the people who made you the way you are. Me, I accepted what I am. I love what I am. I'd never want to go back. If Clara could, I'm sure in a heartbeat she'd go back to just being a regular person. But it's like, you know, that whole great divide of like, oh, you know, basics and mods, you know, just it seems like it might just be this one-off thing, but I don't know, maybe it'll come up more later on during the season. I mean, like, we're literally only in the second episode, so. But I'm sure that's something Clara's going to have to really think about going forward, because Yuko said that she, you know, she did all this because it's like Clara's her friend and she didn't want to kill her, because Miko's like, yo, she's asking too many questions, causing a stir, get rid of her, but this is the best way to do it. So with the whole situation, like, there's no telling how much of Clara is actually left underneath that, so there's no actual versing it. There's whole, like, memory blockers in place to kind of keep her from remembering, so. And I guess it also explains why she was so willing to help Johnny and stuff like that, because it's like maybe on somewhere underneath the surface that was the same Clara, and maybe subconsciously she remembered Johnny, the reason why they just like clicked so well. Maybe, I don't know. But also on the other side of the episode, it's like, yeah, Team Dutch and Davin aren't gelling as well as Team Dutch, Davin, and Johnny would, just because Johnny's kind of the smarts of the group, and it's like, oh, we need to hack something. Oh, we're putting it in the past. Oh, it's screwed up. Well, the fact of the matter is, this machine might be a little fried, but hey, that means no one else can get access to this information, and like they high five each other, like that's really a good thing. I love that little moment, just like, oh, like it was really that much of a win. But nonetheless, Turin's like, okay, you need to get a nerd on your squad. You need to get someone smart so they can handle this. Basically, they end up getting 3 recruits. One is Alex from Continuum. Can't place the actor's name. Interestingly enough, just because I've seen him on another thing, and that's The Mist. So literally came on yesterday. So I just thought that was kind of interesting seeing him pop up in this. But nonetheless, him and 2 other recruits, one of them being Zephyr, basically they're on this mission, but then they kind of get infected with this whole thing. I did not expect things to kind of turn out the way they did, especially the way Zephyr's stories, like, because she kept noticing, she's like, okay, Davin, what's up with you? You're not sweating. I'm like, oh, is she catching on to the whole, whatever, the military did to Davin? Maybe it's having adverse effects on him, combined with this, like, pathogen or whatever that's in the air, because obviously they're all working together to get out of there. But it's like, she pointed out, I was like, oh, is he Davin just trying to avoid that because maybe there's something there, maybe she's going to figure out about Davin being different. Turns out it was not related, because the whole thing was a simulation. Was not expecting. I was like, because Zephyr's all like confident about it and everything, I was like, oh. And then like the fire comes, I was like, oh man, that sucks. I was like, oh, like I thought the whole point was going to be okay. It's, oh no, you are okay, because the entire thing was a simulation. Turin is super pissed because he kicks like Zephyr out of it, because it's like, hey, you did 2 of the 3 things you were supposed to do. The third thing is the other side of the main mission isn't what comes first. Making sure the rest of your team gets out is what matters. Which I'm actually surprised someone like Turin actually cares about that. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, it just shows that you can follow orders. It's kind of, Zephyr didn't follow orders. She was told to kind of back down, forget doing the actual mission. We're supposed to work together, like make sure we get out of here first. That takes priority numero uno under these like circumstances. But the whole situation is Turin's kind of an asshole, so I just kind of assume like, oh, like I'm surprised you wouldn't be all for the person putting in the mission first. But I mean, at the end of the day, like he cares about his rack agents and stuff like that, even though like obviously him and Dutch and Davin and Johnny don't always see eye to eye and stuff like that. Like I say, it's kind of a hard ass, but still, it's just kind of interesting to me. So Zephyr kind of got kicked off, while Alex from Continuum, like I'm just gonna refer to him as that, and the other dude are a part of this and everything, because they proved to be, obviously, helping out with everything. So, but behind Turin's back, Dutch kind of brings Zephyr into all this. Now, immediately, I was thinking like Because the moment she said the line like, "Oh, Anila won't even see us coming," like later on, I was like, "Oh my god!" Like I was like, "Okay, I'm waiting for the reveal that one of them is actually a plant sent by Anila to kind of give information." But it's like, no, the person she has to get information from is lo and behold freaking Delsea. Kept asking about. He was like, "What's up with that whole Delsea situation?" Well, maybe the reason why she hasn't reported it because it's not. Maybe she wasn't dead. She was on the verge of being dead, but maybe Anila found her, or maybe she found her way to Anila. Either way, so maybe she's been with Anila this entire time, becoming a Holland, so that way she hasn't had an opportunity to report anything, or I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait to see on that department. But she's like, okay, and it's weird because we never really got to hear or kind of really interact too much with Anila. Like the only times we ever really got to see her were in flashbacks, and just even her demeanor and the way she talks is very different from Dutch. Like Dutch is almost like super badass, but Anila immediately has that like kind of like a crazy carefree like, oh, we need to talk. Tell me everything you know. Like probably most likely about Dutch, which always is kind of interesting because to me I look at Delsea. Delsea kind of always, it seems like she had a weird fixation on Dutch, just because like Dutch is an enigma. She's just kind of an enigma wrapped in another enigma wrapped in a I don't know what the hell I'm saying. She's a big mystery, and so maybe she kind of feels that towards Anila because she's smiling and everything. But I mean, I guess at the end of the day, she got what she wanted. I want to say just her or the other people within the nine that kind of I mean, to our knowledge, like she was the main one working with Klein with this whole like Holland situation. So it's like, hey, you either join or you get wiped out. Is kind of the whole alien invasion thing that's going on right now. So, but everyone's kind of getting locked and loaded with this war. Johnny's back too. So I love the line from Lucy being like, "If I could cry, I would be rusting right now." I was like, "Oh, she missed you so much, Johnny." Oh. Because let's not forget, like at the end of season 2, she tried so hard to make sure that Johnny wouldn't leave because she knew if she didn't do that, he wouldn't come back. Because there's even a point where even Dutch was questioning. She was like, maybe the fact is Johnny hasn't come back yet is because he doesn't want to come back. So, but at the end of the day, he knows where he belongs because he knows that he needs to go back home. Like, he needs to be with the people he cares about most. So I guess that just kind of had to be reinstilled within him because I guess, after the whole Delsea thing, losing Potter, it just kind of sent, Johnny a little spiraling, and he just kind of lost himself. But now, probably helping out Clara, kind of made him kind of, hey, find his center again, seeing her kind of find her home. It's like, yeah, not just because you guys are mods, but the fact of the matter is the mods came to help you when this whole situation came forward. They backed you up. And to me, to him, it's like, yo, that's the start of a family. So it's time for me to go back to my family. But hey, when it's all said and done, like, I might need your help in the future. She's like, yeah, I'm going to be here to help you out. So that was kind of cool. Like I said, it's a very good episode. And some very, very interesting developments. I mean, because the fact of the matter is, because of the whole Nico situation, he does have a full map of like where the Holland are in the J system, and it's like they're freaking everywhere. It's like, how do you fight something that's already like the war hasn't even started and they're already kind of on the losing end? But it's like we'll have to find a way around it. I'm curious to see how this whole situation with Zephyr turns out. I want to see if I'm right about there being more to that situation. I'm not sitting here thinking about it. Like I kept thinking that too. Like the actress who plays Zephyr, I feel like I've seen her somewhere before. I just can't quite place it. It's definitely going to be interesting seeing her interact with Johnny because Zephyr's kind of like I know it all, like, and I'm going to go forward with it. She seems like she might be one of those mad scientists that once she kind of gets started, she has a hard time pulling back because it's like, oh, that's all she gets focused on doing what she needs to do. Hence the whole mission situation. It's like, she has a very one-track mind. It might be that situation like where she kind of forgets about people and other things other than what she's doing. So she sees a problem, she has to fix it. It's definitely going to be interesting seeing her, as well as the others, kind of deal with Johnny now that he's back and just having to readjust to the new situation of like, oh, it's no longer like, a foursome of, Dutch, Davin, and him, and Lucy. Now there's like 3 extra people too 2 people and 1 person that's kind of kept in secret from Durin, so. And also what this whole Delsea situation is going to be about. Like, is she going to go back to responsibility as a 9? I mean, considering the fact is that, if things did go the way it did, that she got picked up by Anila then wouldn't she be missing this entire time? Have people been looking for her? Have there been any like messages being like, oh yeah, Delcea's still missing or something like that? Or is this or because it has been a little while, so has it been a situation of like Delcea, went back, returned to her duties, healed up a little bit, and then met up with Anila again and became, I don't know, the fact is the way Delcea woke up like that, maybe that's just like, ooh, I'm reborn again, like, oh, where am I? But that makes me think that it might be the situation of like, this is her first time being awake subsequently since season two's finale. But I mean, we'll just kind of have to wait and see whether that's true or not. So, but really, that's all I want to talk about in this episode. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.